Hi, I'm Lena, and welcome to Super Data JP, the channel where we turn Japan's real estate and cost of living numbers into answers you can actually use. Every video here is built on verified government data, not opinions, and not guesses. Whether you're planning to invest, relocate, or just curious what life in Japan really costs, you're in the right place. Let's get into today's numbers.
A bullet train is being built that could cut the trip from Nagoya to Tokyo from 90 minutes down to 40. That's faster than plenty of actual Tokyo commutes. Here's what that means for Nagoya real estate, and the risk most investors are ignoring. Start with the baseline. Nagoya investment condos average a 7.58% gross rental yield, against 5.22% in central Tokyo, on the same category of property. The entry price is a fraction of Tokyo's too, around 20,250,000 yen, roughly $125,000, versus 36,870,000 yen in Tokyo. We've mentioned Nagoya before as one line in a 5-city comparison. This time we're going deep on Nagoya alone, because a single infrastructure project could change this market more than any yield spread. Nagoya is Japan's third largest city by population, at around 2.3 million people, and the economic center of the Chuo region. It's also the heart of Japan's automotive industry. Toyota Motor Corporation and its vast supplier network are headquartered in Greater Nagoya, making this one of the most economically self-sufficient regional economies in the country. The yield gap itself isn't a Nagoya-specific quirk. Regional Japanese cities routinely price in higher yields than Tokyo, because buyers demand a return premium for lower liquidity and slower population growth outside the capital. Day-to-day living costs also run meaningfully below Tokyo and Osaka here, which supports steady local rental demand from residents who work in the region's manufacturing and logistics base rather than commuting to Tokyo today. Now, the project that could redefine this market entirely, the Chuo Shinkansen Maglev line. In test runs, Japan's Maglev has hit 603.5 kilometers an hour, nearly double a conventional Shinkansen. In commercial service it's expected to run at 500 kilometers per hour. The number that actually matters for real estate, Tokyo to Nagoya drops from about 90 minutes today to roughly 40 minutes on the Maglev. 40 minutes puts Nagoya within a comfortable commute of central Tokyo, genuinely faster than the door-to-door commute many people already do from Tokyo's own outer suburbs. The route itself runs almost entirely underground. About 90% of the 286-kilometer line to Nagoya is in tunnel, with intermediate stations planned in Sagamihara, Kafu, Ida, and Nakatsugawa, reshaping property demand along the entire corridor, not just at the two endpoints. The original target for this Tokyo to Nagoya section was 2027. Early investment narratives assumed near-term connectivity and priced that in. That target has been abandoned. The holdup is a single prefecture, Shizuoka, sitting between Tokyo and Nagoya, where a major tunnel section raised serious concerns about groundwater and the Oi River's water table. The line is now considered unlikely to open before 2035, an 8-year delay from the original plan, and the extension to Osaka has slipped further, to around 2037. There's real recent progress, though. In March 2026, Shizuoka Prefecture's expert committee approved all 28 of JR Central's proposed environmental safeguards, clearing the single biggest permitting obstacle, even without a confirmed new opening date yet. If you bought Nagoya property assuming Maglev connectivity was a few years out, that thesis needed resetting. If you're buying now, you're pricing in a catalyst that's genuinely closer to becoming real than it's been in years, just later than originally promised. This is a similar lesson to one we've covered on this channel before with Hokkaido's own delayed Shinkansen extension. Major Japanese infrastructure projects routinely run years behind schedule, for very different reasons each time. Run the actual numbers. A 20,250,000 yen Nagoya unit at a 7.58% gross yield generates roughly 1,534,950 yen a year in rent before costs, about $9,475. But the Maglev isn't the only variable unique to Nagoya. There's a second risk baked into this market that has nothing to do with trains. Nagoya's economy is unusually concentrated in one industry, automotive manufacturing. That's been a massive strength for decades. It's also a concentration risk most other Japanese metros don't carry at this scale. And that industry is going through the biggest technology shift in its history, the shift from combustion engines to electric vehicles. The average manufacturing worker in Aichi Prefecture is 44.3 years old, versus 41.8 nationally. This workforce skews meaningfully older than the rest of Japan's manufacturing base. 31% of Aichi's automotive workforce is 55 or older, against 24% nationally. A large share of the region's core expertise is approaching retirement all at once. The expertise retiring workers hold, combustion engine machining, just-in-time parts logistics, doesn't transfer directly to EV-era work like battery chemistry sourcing or software-driven supply chains. Compounding that, the region's 18-year-old population has fallen 18% since 2015, fewer young workers entering the pipeline just as the skills required are changing fastest. None of this threatens Nagoya's economy overnight. But a rental market this tied to one industry's successful transition carries a structural risk that a diversified economy like Tokyo's or Osaka's simply doesn't have, and it's the kind of risk that shows up slowly, over a decade, not in a single bad quarter. It's worth noting Nagoya isn't purely a one-industry town either. The region also has meaningful aerospace, machine tools, and ceramics manufacturing. But automotive still dwarfs the rest combined, and Toyota's own fortunes disproportionately drive regional employment and rents. The counterpoint, Toyota itself is investing heavily in the shift, and Aichi's supplier base has weathered technology transitions before. This is a real risk to factor in, not a reason to write the market off. In practice, that means checking how concentrated a specific building's likely tenant base is in auto sector jobs before buying. A unit near a diversified university or logistics hub carries a different risk profile than one built primarily around a single supplier plant. This fits an investor comfortable with a higher yield, lower entry price regional market, who's willing to hold long enough for the Maglev thesis to play out, and who's done real diligence on the local auto sector transition. It's a poor fit for anyone who needs the Maglev to arrive on the original timeline, or anyone unwilling to research how exposed a specific neighborhood's rental demand is to auto sector employment. Nagoya's yield advantage over Tokyo is real today, independent of any future infrastructure. The Maglev is a genuine long-term catalyst, now credibly progressing again after years of delay, just further out than early investors assumed. And the region's single industry concentration is a real, quantifiable risk worth pricing in. Quick recap of the real numbers behind investing in Nagoya. Gross yield 7.58% versus Tokyo's 5.22%, average price 20,250,000 yen, Maglev travel time cut to 40 minutes, now targeted for 2035. We've also covered Sapporo's own delayed transit catalyst, plus the hidden ongoing costs of Japanese property and how mortgages actually work for foreign buyers, in earlier videos on this channel. Useful context before adding Nagoya to your shortlist. That's the real story behind Nagoya's yield, its Maglev bet, and the industry risk underneath both. Subscribe for more data-driven breakdowns of real estate and investing in Japan.
And that's today's breakdown. If you're serious about real estate or moving to Japan, research like this is exactly what separates a smart decision from an expensive mistake. Subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive, and drop a comment if there's a city or word you want us to cover next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.